Thank you so much for tuning in to show 129. Yep, we've got a show for you. It consists of some songs, some talking, some adjusting of things. Not a whole lot of walking back and forth and doing jumping jacks. My ankle is still recuperating from its having been strained. Make that sprained. My mind, it files things in a sloppy fashion. Bad software. I often say the word next to the word I mean. Just like I was looking through a dictionary, but it's all in my brain. Does this happen to other people? I have no idea. And if it happens to you, I'd like to hear about it. I probably never will, though, because you have so much to do. Why get in touch with me, like on Facebook or YouTube or anywhere, and tell me what you think? You probably have other people, and you tell them what you think. Why should you come to me? Even if it concerns me because it's about me, you're thinking it doesn't concern me because your perceptions are yours and they belong to you. And so they only concern you, even though I'm saying them. Okay, that's a sentence which deserves to be rewritten. And I'm not going to. Not right now, anyway. Yes, I had a wonderful lesson last week. Someone told me it would be good for you to think about what you're going to say before you say it and decide whether it's worth saying. And in normal life that works, but this show is something else. The whole show is based on the premise that you do want to know what I'm thinking. I mean, if you don't want to know what I'm thinking and you're not interested in what I think, why are you watching this? Perhaps there are other reasons. Perhaps you're sedated and you can't get up and change the channel. I'm sorry about that. I mean, I hope you're pleasantly sedated. But if it's any comfort, I'll be gone soon. Sonny Boy Williamson, Trumpet Records. This is from before chess. I don't know if he recorded a version for chess. You're a little girl that I just can't understand. No matter how much love I give you, give me loud of the hand. You can do it if you wanna. Oh Lord, what you want if you wanna. You can do it if you wanna, babe. I don't care what you do. The whole world knows that you treat me wrong, but I'm not gonna hang around your home. You can do it if you wanna. Oh Lord, what you want. You can do it if you want, babe, I don't care what you do. Look ahead, mama, now what you gonna do? I'm getting my tired of waiting on you. You can do it if you want. What you want, if you want. You can do it if you want a bad boy, I don't care what you do. Sonny Boy. Rice Miller. Isn't that great? His first name is Rice. But he became Sonny Boy. There was another Sonny Boy, Sonny Boy the First. I don't know if his name really was Williamson. I'll look it up. I think it was. And now, how do you like this TV thing? Of course, I can't look at it while I'm doing it. But aren't I blue today? And I'm doing all these blues? It's odd. And it's raining. Take me back to the place where I first saw the light. To the sweet sunny south, take me home, where the mockingbird sang me to sleep every night. Oh, why was I tempted to roam? I think with regret of the dear ones I left, and the warm hearts that sheltered me then, of the wife and the loved ones of whom I am bereft, and I sigh for the old place again. Take me home to the place where the orange trees grow, to my cot in the evergreen shade, where the flowers on the river's green margins may blow their sweets on the banks where we played. The path to our cottage, they say, has grown green, and the place is quite lonely around. And I know that the smiles and the forms I have seen now lie in the dark, mossy ground. Take me home, let me see what is left that I knew. Can it be that the old house is gone? The dear friends of my childhood indeed must be few, and I must lament all alone. And yet I return to the place of my birth, where my children have played at the door, where they pulled the white blossoms that garnish the earth, which will echo their footsteps no more. That's probably the oldest song I do. Close to it. That one and Minstrel Boy. I believe 1855. That's before the Civil War. This guy had nostalgia before the Civil War. Well, I was going to read a story, and I've decided that the story is too long. It's too long to read in the course of a half-hour show. So I'll just read a few passages. When I moved back to Vermont in the fall of 1984, I bought a chalk white 1978 Datsun B210 hatchback for $150. It had a little body rot, and the brakes needed work. Ed Epstein let me use his metal bender, his electric drill, his pop rivet gun, and a few scraps of sheet metal to repair the holes. Gary Neff and my brother Bob helped with the brakes, and Gary rigged up a cover for the rear brake light. It had a few things wrong with it. R.I.P. Gary Neff. Unfortunately, Gary is gone now. He's been gone quite a while. But he was a wonderful guy, and we all miss him. Ed Epstein is still around, and he watches this show. Ed, thank you so much for lending me that stuff. And thank you so much for watching the show. It was nice seeing you a week or two ago, which by now may be a month or two ago. Onward. The backup lights didn't work. As my February inspection drew nigh, I crawled under the car to see what was the problem. The wires leading to the rear backup lights had fallen off the transmission. I had no soldering gun, and it was good and cold by that time. I mean, it was January. I didn't know anyone who could lend me a heated garage, so I decided to fake it. I poked a hole in the boot, which is the flexible sheath at the base of the gear shift, attached a foot of speaker wire, yes, stereo speaker wire, to the loose wires leading to the rear light, and pushed the other end of the wires up through the hole in the boot into the interior of the car. They were right next to, right under my knee. When I went into reverse, I would reach down and pinch the two speaker wires together, and the lights would go on. Inspection went fine, no problem. The mechanic walked behind the car, said, okay, put it in reverse. And I put it in reverse and pinched the wires together at the same time. I later found those wires very handy when anyone was tailgating me. Flying down the highway, I just pinched those two wires together, and that car behind me would drop back right away. Yes, sir. They wondered if I had slammed it into reverse, and they didn't want to be there to find out. It was great. I did a lot of work on this car, and it finally, it went because of the McPherson struts. The suspension was not just, what do they call them? What do they call the regular ones? Shock absorbers? Anyway, McPherson struts are about as sophisticated as they can be. I saw a chart on the wall of an auto body shop where I worked briefly during the 80s. And it was like 30-step process to replace them. It was quite a chart. Anyway, they would have cost more than the entire car cost me. And it taught me a good lesson. Never buy a car whose shock absorbers cost more than the whole car because you will never replace them, and eventually they will fail and you will bounce off the road. It bounced me off the road. My car looked like Godzilla had tried to eat it, picked it up, crunched, put it back down. The car crashed into, jumped up onto, and uprooted a giant tree stump that the man had been just about to pay somebody to remove. And I removed it for nothing. Of course, I did go sailing through his yard in my car, and he didn't like that. He came out with a gun, and I don't blame him. But things got much better. To give you an idea, without reading the whole story, I was fishtailing on a gravel road, and it decided to throw me off the road, and there was a house there about 15 feet away, and I was headed right for the house. But I was fishtailing so bad that by the time I got to the house, I was parallel to the wall of the house instead of aimed at the house. So I simply uprooted a lilac bush and zipped into his yard, smashing out some lights on an occasional tree, and then uprooting the stump and coming to rest. Whew. I won't be doing that. I made note of many mistakes I had made. A friend of mine, a friend of ours actually, lived on that road, and I went past his house on the way to my accident. He lived on a steep hill, a gravel road, a steep hill, and he happened to look out and see somebody coming down the road sideways. Which was lucky for me, since there was an 8-foot drop at the exact end of his road. So instead of going over that and crashing real hard and getting hurt real bad, I went off to the right, eventually almost crashing into another house. At any rate, I never replaced the lilac bush. I had told him I'll replace the lilac bush, and I was a weasel. I never did. What a jerk I was. Probably some people would say, what a jerk I am. But I am getting better. This is especially addressed to those people. I actually am. They'll say, prove it. And someday I will. I'll prove it to you. But years later, at a party, I think it was someone's wedding, I met the man whose yard I'd invaded. I apologized about the bush. And he said, it was nothing. It's okay. We shook hands. He forgave me. Life is pretty amazing. Fiction's pretty amazing too. The human imagination is a part of life, I would say. But rather than talk about that, I'll talk about Wee Willie Wayne. James Wayne did Junko Partner. New Orleans was a hit. In 1954, he decided to change his name to Wee Willie Wayne. I assume he wasn't too big a guy. Anyway, Travelin' Mood. kinda sad and lonely. Lost my sweet one and only. Gonna find my baby. I don't mean no maybe. Gonna find it. Gonna find my baby and I'm gonna bring her home with me. She said that she'd never leave me. Now she gone away and it grieved me. I was fast asleep and she was midnight creeping. Gonna find her. I'm gonna find my baby and I'm gonna bring her home with me. Bags up, packed for the travel. Gonna cover many miles of gravel. Gonna find my baby cause she's the finest lady. Gonna find her. I'm gonna find my baby and I'm gonna bring her home with me. Going down to Texas, down to Georgia, Oklahoma, Mississippi, Florida. Gonna Louisiana, gonna Alabama, Tennessee. Gonna find my baby and I'm gonna bring her home with me. Find my baby, gonna bring her home with me. Well, I'm gonna find my baby and I'm gonna bring her home with me. Traveling mood. Wee Willie Wayne. Now, going forward to the, close to the present, a couple of years ago, Tom Waits' strangest sounding album, Real Gone, Make It Rain. She took all my money, my best friend. You know the story, but here it comes again. I have no pride, she has no shine. You gotta make it rain. Since she's gone, deep inside it hurts. I'm just another side guest of this dark earth. I wanna believe in mercy again. You gotta make it rain. The night's too quiet, stretched out alone. I need the whip of thunder and the cold winds moan. I'm not able, I'm Cain. Open up the heavens and let it rain. I'm bound for trouble, I'm born to fight. Inside a promise I can't escape. It's the same old world, but nothing looks the same. You gotta make it right. Without her love, without her kiss, hell can't be much worse than this. I'm burning up with all this pain. Put out the fire and my down close to heaven, crossed against the gate. They sharpened their knives on my mistakes. What she done? You can't give it a name. You gotta make it right. You gotta make it right. You gotta make it right. You got to make it make it rain. Thank you so much for watching show 129 of Messing Around with Charlie Messing. Yes, as the numbers grow, we get closer to the end of the sequence of numbers. We can't help but get closer to the end because we are getting further from the beginning. You know, everybody used to have first and second sleep. Yes, until the modern era, like in medieval times, people went to sleep and then they would wake up in the middle of the night and do all the stuff that they couldn't do while the kids were awake and get their private stuff done, and then they'd go back to sleep and wake up with the kids in the morning. This was normal. Now everybody thinks they've got insomnia if that happens to them. Isn't that interesting? I found it interesting. And that's what you get on this show, the things I find interesting. The other shows are very different because other people are interested in very different things. And they look different and their voices are different, and they may not be wearing this t-shirt. This is the station's t-shirt. They gave me a t-shirt, isn't it great? Polo shirts, my dad wore them all the time. I can't stand them. It's like a t-shirt with a collar and a couple buttons. I never wear them. I'm sort of allergic to the whole idea of them. Don't give me a polo shirt for a present. Please, ever. Thank you in advance. I'm running out of time. Or should I say the tape is running out of time? Well, as a mortal being, I'm always running out of time. But it's not like I'm working on the last 5 minutes of my life, whereas I am working on the last 5 minutes of this tape and the last 5 minutes of this show. At some point, I'll be talking just as pointlessly as I am now, and the thing will shut off. All of a sudden, great impersonator, Kevin Pollak. And Christopher Walken is a wonderful person to impersonate.